Hello, this is Yehna.
And this is Jessie.
We are so excited to be back with another episode back on Zoom. We wrestled through many different questions. We wanted to invite you and discuss how we have learned and are celebrating staying present. So, welcome and join us at
At
the
the
table.
table.
Oh,
Oh
bad.
man. Oh man, we're
It's
back
okay.
to our laggy, staggery, whatever. It's
I'm
okay.
dead. Oh, man.
It literally took us like 10 full seconds to do that.
I know I was
It's
staring
okay.
at you thinking, are we starting now?
I'm waiting for you to open your mouth.
Me
And
too.
then I'm like,
I'm waiting for you to open your mouth.
it's too
Honestly,
good.
there's definitely more efficient ways to do this, and we still have not mastered it even after 50 episodes. It is what it is. Maybe this is our signature opening.
I was gonna say I kind of like it, even though I always nitpick it out.
It's our thing now.
It's our thing.
Anyway,
Anyway, well, we are excited to talk about how we've been doing through this whole recent thing of being able to stay present. I think we're both in a season of life where, I mean, there are ups and downs with jobs, with personal life, all that. But just kind of looking at it from an overarching theme, like we've been surprised about how present we've been able to be, whether that's where we are locationally and kind of in our relationships too.
yeah.
We just thought we wanted to celebrate, like take the time to celebrate all that, God's been
You've
doing in our
learned.
lives and all that we've learned and kind of break it down for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll share about the joys of being rooted and what that looks like coming from an MK, TZK background, and then how that is looking for each of us in our lives right now.
Yay.
So, you ready, Yenna?
I am, or ready as can be.
Awesome. Here we
Am I
go.
just diving in?
But
Wait.
I could set it up for us.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Didn't
We
record
haven't
for the
done this
past week
podcast.
and then completely forgets how to do it.
Honestly, like we're kind of out of routine with recording that we're
Oh,
like, oh
true.
yeah, like what is it like to plan, record, and like execute this?
Oh my gosh. But we'll get there,
It's
guys.
okay. We'll get back to it. So, like I said, now that we've somewhat established a community where we are, we're starting to notice that like we've been able to be the most present we've ever been in our entire lives. And we're like,
So
okay,
true.
why is that? This is a nice feeling, but this is a foreign feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's because we're finally getting the taste of what it's like to build roots and to stay put, but to celebrate the growth part, also being able to trust in God that He will provide in our circumstances. So now I feel like instead of obsessing through the thought of being left or leaving, which just that thought process is second nature to us. But instead, we're able to pour our energy into being a part of the process of deepening things. It's just crazy
Yeah,
because
it's so scary. I'm not
to
gonna
me,
lie.
it's it's a luxury to be present and to just have space to feel we can be known and
Mm,
to not worry about what's next. And we're like,
so
whew,
true.
let's celebrate this. But also, why is it that it's something we have to celebrate when for most people, like that's a norm?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
it's so true.
So, Yana, what does that kind of look like? Give us some little
Mm,
examples.
yeah, I the big one I was realizing was really in the context of church. Before, it was just always an in and out experience. Obviously, with college, it's a little different, but post grad, it was just you go in, you come out, you no one really knows you. You go there to, do your thing and then leave. But these days, I go and I have people I can go up to, or they come up to me and they check in with me and how my week went and they pray for me, and it's just such a wild experience when I hear someone call my name across the sanctuary or something like that and thinking, oh my gosh, what, how? And it's obviously I'm not going to respond in saying like, how do you know my name? Because but in the back of my head, it's just so wild to me that I've come to a place where I have finally come out of my comfort zone and challenged myself to plug in. And therefore, I'm able to see people call my name and know who I am, know when I'm absent. They know my schedule. They know that I'm going to be gone for Thanksgiving. It's just such an interesting experience. Obviously, there's so many more, but this has definitely been one that stuck out to me in the past year.
Yeah, it's just crazy that I can talk about the future with me being in the context of what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Because usually I'm like, oh, next year, like you guys will go to camp. Well, I'll be back in Japan or whatever, right?
Mm.
But I can talk about it with me being a part of it. And that's so weird.
Whoa, that stung. That triggered a real unfortunate memory.
Yeah, I can talk about 2 years from now or 3 years because that's actually a possibility for me. And
Mm.
I'm like, that's never been the case, you know? So it's nice that, yes, in the setting, I might feel like I'm a part of something, but it's a different level of, ooh, I am a part of something long term. But sorry to sidetrack again. When you were just sharing about when I go to church, people know me, and speaking about it from your college experience, I
Mm.
wonder because when we were in college, that's something that we could have sought out and we could have had in
So
our
true.
lives, have in our lives, sorry, grammar. But I wonder because of this exact thing we're talking about, maybe that's why we didn't intentionally choose that
Mm.
or we're afraid to step into that.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Oh my gosh, that's so crazy because I was just talking about this with a friend and realizing I was saying, yes, my big heart and vision is for missionary kids, TCKs, but as I've been plugging in more into church and paying more attention to church communities as a whole and being given opportunities to see different church communities, I was realizing, wow, there's a huge need for college and young adult ministry. And I don't mean young adults as in 20s to 30s and it being majority 30s, but really a investment in this new chapter of post grad life. I don't see
Mm,
much of that. Not to call out churches, but and I'm not saying that I'm trying to put all the blame on them, but I'm like, wow. I I think because we ourselves as TC kids and missionary kids already have a fear of not being welcomed and not being able to be rooted or having the constant ruminating question of, or not question, the voice in our head saying, what's the point if it's gonna all
mhm,
end? But
mhm,
if someone were to take lead and to draw that out, I don't know, maybe it's a back and forth. Obviously, we need to be bold and come out of that. But when a fear is paralyzing, it's so hard to come out of it. So anyway, there's so many things I could say about this, so many thoughts and things that tug at my heartstrings, but it definitely is a, I don't want, maybe it's not as dramatic as fear, or maybe it is. Whatever it is, it's still something that blocks us from investing in and plugging into or stepping out of our shell to join these communities. And I think it's so painful because those are years, and this is the season where it's so crucial to be in a healthy, God centered community. I can go on and on, so I should stop right here.
oh,
Yes.
dang it. But I wanted to add something to that
No,
because
add it.
oh, okay. Because yeah, even the people around me, just hearing about how their church community is and like how, I don't know, their small group is going or something like that, like they have been sharing how much the people that come, that show up, have been craving for the same type of community.
Mm.
Wow, that is so cool because it just took someone to initiate that, to launch that, and people respond to that and show up and are just creating this awesome, depthful community. And it's so cool to see that happen, especially for young adults that are navigating adulting, that transition after college and like really needing that. And I feel like
So
with
true.
cities too, yeah, with big cities, there's a huge lack
So
of
true.
that type of connection. So yeah, it's just really cool to hear there's a trend going on with that.
Mm-hmm. Loneliness is real, guys. I know it's such a cringe word. I don't know why it is, but it's such a sad, it's an emptiness that people tend to look past. Anyway, we're not doing that right now. We are celebrating being present.
I love how we were like, let's celebrate, let's talk about the joyful moments of being present right now in our lives. And then we're like, let's talk about
The pain.
rejection, the pain, the loneliness. We just can't sit still in the joy. No,
Oh
we
my
will
gosh.
celebrate. We'll turn this back.
Well, it's not that we want to be sad. It's just this is a season where we are finally waking up to what hurts our heart and what pains us and what's driving us and what's actually led us back to seeking after God. So, anyway, but in that
Yeah.
note, we are really celebrating how far God has brought us in finally saying, I will love the church and your people just as much as you do. Because for so long, as much as, yes, our circumstances may not have allowed that, but really what needed to happen is the shift in our heart to say, I surrender all.
Yes. Amen to that.
Anyway,
Yenna, so then what does it look like right now? What are the joys that you are celebrating with being present?
yes, I say this all the time when I do my teacher rants, but I have been so blessed by my team the past year and this year. And just honestly, I would not be able to show up to work if it wasn't for them. If they weren't there, I'm out. Bye bye. And that in itself is such a testament because I am able to finally say, I want to invest in these people. I want to care for them. I want to be able to sit in the parking lot crying because I'm in pain for the other person because now we are doing life together outside of just this career setting, this occupation setting. That has been just so mind blowing. They know what I'm doing the next weekend or what I'm praying about. And I know what they're hurting about. And we have a text change where we're literally checking in with their families. And it's just such a bizarre not atmosphere, what am I saying? Such a bizarre community that I've been able to be so blessed by because what public school setting is going to be like this? And here I am
Right.
being so blessed. But I think that really is a testament to me finally saying, I'm going to join in this community
Mm.
and I am going to allow them to hurt for what hurts me. And so, because that is, I might be able to hurt with them and what they're hurting and what they're concerned about or what their joys are, but I would never let it happen the other way around. But I
Mm.
am letting them know I'm applying to grad. I'm going to let them know I've been sick. I'm going to let them know that this is something that weighs on my chest when it comes to a student. I would not have let this been a thing even 2 years ago. But here I am able
Mm.
to sit with them and allow them to sit with me. And that has just been such a monumental thing for me the past 2 years. So that has been awesome. I mean, I kind of touched on the church, but really that work environment has been so amazing. Just also another thing is that I was able to develop a relationship within the church where I had the confidence. I mean, obviously I was so shy and so embarrassed, but I had the confidence to go up to my life group leader and ask her to write my recommendation letter. That was so crazy for me that I was able to plug myself in long enough or even plug myself in period to be able to ask that question because recommendation letters are no joke. It really isn't. It's basically saying, can you please write good things about me so I
It's
can
saying
get
like
in.
I trust, and it's also saying like I trust that you know my character
Yes.
and you know someone of my heart enough to help me
Yes.
help me out here.
And that has been so amazing. I'm just so blessed. And that is all a change of heart of me saying, I am going to be less obsessive about them leaving or myself leaving. No longer let that dictate how I interact or how I choose to react to any of my interactions. Anyway, I'm just so grateful. My heart is full. I'm so glad we did this because I needed a little heart check with that.
Oh, that's so
Yeah.
good.
Mm,
I feel like that was what really helped you to have such a seamless transition to
mm,
Texas.
so true.
I remember that first 6 months of, wow, this environment is so good for you. in establishing your life here.
Mm,
So, wow, looking back at it and it being what, almost 2 years ago, that's insane. Like, God has been
insane.
so good with that. Um, so, we celebrate. Yay.
Your turn.
My turn. Uh, I mean, nothing too much that I haven't already talked about. For me, it's just I always think of the cost benefit, always calculating in my head, oof, is this worth it? Because if I do invest in it or choose to open up my heart, how much is it going to hurt when it's time for me to step away?
Knife in heart.
Because yeah, I think about my life currently right now, and I have so many just really good heart girlfriends, like close girlfriends that
Mm,
I can share my heart with. Like I call them my heart friends or my soul friends. And those are friends that I know will last. And I have therefore been able to open up and be vulnerable and let myself be known. But stepping into communities is harder for me because there's definitely that risk. And yeah, I'm just always weighing it, but being able to just let God take over that and just be in the process of, I don't have to know what's going to come out of this. And it's not about what I'm getting out of it. It's like, God, I'm going to be a part of this, whether or not I feel sad leaving it or feel grateful staying in it longer than I thought. Like, I'm just going to let you take the wheel. And
mm,
it's been cool to let go of that because I've just been so present. Like this year, I feel like the theme of what I've accomplished this year is just being so present and not constantly overthinking and preparing and yeah, like pre-mourning over things.
right.
So that's something to celebrate for sure. Yeah.
Morning. Such a
Yeah.
real thing.
It definitely is. And again, we acknowledge that a lot of this has had that our TCK and MK background has had a huge effect on this. But we also want to acknowledge it's also that those experiences that we've had in the past 2, 3 years that maturing us and allowing us to let God take the wheel. Yeah, it's
Such
not
a
about who
game
we
changer.
meet. Yeah, it's not about who we meet or who will leave me or who will stay in our lives anymore. It's about just God, we trust in you
Mm,
and we trust that you will do what you need to do. So I wonder, even in your guys' lives, there's always unknowns in your life, whether that's in your career, in your relationships, in your community, where you will be next locationally. It could be question marks about your friendships, right? But I wonder, what does it look like for God to surrender that and to let God really allow to work in your life in those
mm.
areas? Yay.
Wow. These check-in points really is more for us to do a little gratitude journaling out loud,
Always, always.
always. I am so in awe of how faithful he is in just all of this. Well, not to end things abruptly, but I do want to share a little bit about some things that are coming up in our lives and why we have really started to transition into a bi-weekly schedule and why things feel a little distant when it comes to our podcasting life. A lot of changes are happening within just our personal life and kind of the trajectory of what we want to do when it comes to establishing a lot of our dreams and visions. And one of them is we are starting to plan a possible TCK-MK retreat this upcoming summer. Nothing in terms of date is set in stone. And the reason why I'm even being vulnerable and transparent in sharing this now is really more than anything, we would love your prayers and how to navigate all of this because we have never done anything like this. We are literally just entering our mid-20s. Like, what? But it's been such a pressing thing on our heart. So, obviously, this is so vague, but more than anything, just prayers for wisdom in navigating and how we should best create a safe environment for this type of thing. And so, but really exciting stuff. And so stay tuned. And as we continue to share a little bit of this in the next couple months, and don't get me wrong, we're still doing a bi-weekly schedule, meaning our hearts are still so in this podcast and wanting to share with you all the journey of unraveling our TCK life and our 20s and just what it means to do all of this. So thank you all for always listening and to just take part in this journey with us. It truly feels like learning beside you all. Continue to stay tuned in all of these things. We are on Spotify and on YouTube, and our updates will be on Instagram. So follow us in all three outlets, or at least two of them. We are excited to share more in our next episode. But until then, bye.
Bye.